So today we are doing verse number 7 of chapter number 6 called the Dhyana Yoga. Jitatmanaha prachantasya paramatmaha samahitaha shitno sa shuka dukkheshu tataha mana apamana yo. For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. So, chapter 6 in one line is remolding the mind, controlling the obstacles of your mind. Krishna conscious in one line. The problem is not outside, it is inside, within. Every problem. Neighbor is not a problem. Country immigration status is not a problem. Our spouse is definitely not a problem. Children not listening to us is not a problem. Not having enough money is not a problem. The main problem is in having an uncontrolled mind. With a controlled mind, in any circumstances, one can be happy. The six Goswamis showed by practical example. If someone has a controlled mind, a satisfied mind in any circumstances, in any situation, one can be happy. And if you have an uncontrolled mind, you can be a Hiranyakashipu after 60,000 years of antil tapasya and still be miserable. Srila Prabhupada says he was the master of the whole creation, but unfortunately a slave to his mind. Senses, and Prahlad Maharaj was a master of his mind. Why? Because he was the servant of the Lord. Manaha eva manusham karnam bandha mokshayo. Our scripture says, look, the cause of bondage and liberation is not your body, the clothes you wear, or the sacred marks you apply. It is the machine within you called the mind. I'll just tell you a story. There was a poor Brahmana. He used to worship the Lord and every day visit the temple. Once he was inspired to make a particular delicious, sumptuous feast. And he began thinking how he could make arrangements because he was very poor and he could not get alms enough to make the sumptuous feast, So he heard a voice. He says, Manasa Pushpam, I will be happy if you offer that to me. The poor Brahmana could not understand what it was. He asked a few other Brahmanas, he went here and there. And that particular day, he hardly got any bhiksha. So he went to the Lord and he started crying at the lotus feet of the Lord. And he fell down and he says, Oh Lord, I have nothing to offer to you except my mind. And a voice came, Yes, that's it. Seat me in your mind. The mind is extremely subtle and extremely powerful as well. Consider subtler than all matters are the atoms that constitute it. And yet, these atoms are power packed with atomic energy. Subtler than the atoms are the five knowledge senses, with which we see, hear, taste, smell, and feel. Subtler than these senses and even more powerful is the mind. The senses, they have the physical limitation in preserving what is around them. The mind has no such limitation. Shanmayati patalam, shanyanti na bharastalam. In a moment, it can go to the celestial abodes. In the next moment, it can be in the nether regions. The senses are unlimited instruments that bring knowledge, information to you. And the mind, however, can analyze, create thoughts, emotions, sentiments. It is the factory of your thoughts. Mind your mind, the monkey mind. That is why the scripture says it's very important to learn the art of cultivating the garden of your mind. If we have a garden at home, we tend to it daily, we fertilize the soil, we sow appropriate seeds, and water the plants regularly. At the same time, we are careful to weed out the wild grass as it grows faster than the plants themselves and will choke them out. Hence, if we work hard at tending our garden, it rewards us with luscious fruits and beautiful flowers. However, if we leave it to grow wild, it is quickly overrun by weeds and becomes an eyesore. The mind too is like a garden given to us by God. Its fertile soil has the potential for providing us with inspiring thoughts and noble feelings. However, we have to tend to it carefully. We need to continuously fertilize it with elevating sentiments and pull out the weeds of poisonous emotions. The mind will then reward us with a sterling and heroic character to accomplish great things. This mind is the cause of our experience of happiness and distress. One person is happily seated at, and you go and say a sentence in his ears that creates an morose thought. The expression on his face changes and he seems dejected. Now there's another person, he seems in a forlorn mood, and you go and say something to cheer them up, and a smile breaks out on his face. Again, thoughts created the misery, and the thoughts can create happiness. Thoughts, feeling, emotions are all products of the factory of the mind. That is why our scripture says, look, the cause of bondage and liberation is not your body, the clothes you wear, or the sacred marks you apply. It is the machine inside which is called the mind. Mana eva manishya nam karanam bandhan mokshayo. The mind is stuck in worldly contemplation. You are in bondage if the mind, sorry, if the mind is filled with devotional thoughts, Krishna consciousness, you will be liberated. Samuel Johnson quotes, with an unquiet mind, no amount of exercise, medicines, or physics is, is an use. Adi Shankaracharya says 2005 years ago, declared, Jagat itam kena, who shall influence and impact the world? And the answer he provided, mana hi yena, those who have succeeded to conquer his own mind. An American philosopher, Oliver Wendell Holman, says, beauty of the mind is that once expanded to higher dimensions, it never returns to the original size. Prahlad Maharaj tells that he tells Hiranyakashipu that the cause of all problem is being stuck in material sense gratification in this world, forgetting of the supreme personality of Godhead and trying to fulfill material desires. Natures of material desires, they are unlimited. They go on and on and on, just like when we chant japa, everywhere the mind goes. There is some inclination, there is some past samskaras, there is some attraction. That is why the mind goes distraction from the holy name, means alternative attraction to something else. And the nature of all this is when you get it, we temporarily feel a little joyful, but then it increases more and more desires. The greed to have it increases. When we don't get it, we become angry. When we get it, we become greedy. When we get it and others don't get it, we become proud. And when others get it and we don't get it, we become envious. And if we get it and they get it, then it becomes we become insecure. How is it both of us we are getting it? So Even after getting it, what we want, we still are miserable. This is the nature of material life. And to add more trouble, they are unlimited desires in the heart. They just keep coming up. Just like when there are water leaks in a pipe, you see water keeps rushing out, coming out like a fountain, and so much water gets wasted. But when someone conceals it up and ties it up somehow, makes sure that the pipe is sealed, you'll see that the water exists, but it's properly channelized, it's properly used, not wasted. So when bhakti is performed, that bhakti is like the seal. When we take shelter of Sri Hari, Sri Krishna, any holes in the heart, in the consciousness through which we make mistakes and material desires keep sprouting, they all are sealed. Krishna, with his lotus feet, he places the lotus feet on all these broken pipes like desires or heart consciousness, from where so many uh, water fountains like material desires are springing. So by taking shelter of him, he seals it up completely, and all these desires, just like the water in the pipe, is properly channelized. Srila Prabhupada teaches us in our Krishna consciousness is not to become desireless, but our process is to use our desires in Krishna's service. This is the perfection. Hiranyaka, Hiranyaksha, demon, means who he is greedy, and Hiranyakashipu, demon, means who is lusty. He who is enjoying the plundered wealth. Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha is chasing the wealth. In Kali Yuga, the good news is both Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, with all the potencies, live in us. Hari bol. So, therefore, we need Nrsimhadev to enter our heart through prayers and service, surrender to protect us, a strong, tenacious, willed mind. A strong mind is our best friend. The happiness and distress derived from the activities of material senses are not actual happiness and distress. Anarthas are like demons, which with in roaring, and in times when both emotions meet, the Devta Prahlad in us should have the power to tell the Hiranyakashipu in us what to do. Invariably, what happens when we are confused, flickering mind, our heart tells us, yes, need to chant, but the mind will tell us, but it's only 2 in the afternoon. You can chant even at 7 o'clock. Now, why not watch a movie or talk to a friend, etc.? So it is the Hiranyakashipu thought overpowering the Prahlad thought. The Prahlad thought in us says, wake up early. The Hiranyakashipu thought will say, what is the need? That same early morning chanting, I can do late night chanting, doesn't matter. Instead of sleeping at 10 o'clock and waking up at 4 a.m., I can sleep at 12 o'clock and wake up at 6 a.m. What's the loss? It's still 6 hours. So the Prahlad in us is the bhakti, the thought. The the Hiranyakashipu in us is the sense enjoyment. And you'll see the confusion is always because the Hiranyakashipu takes over the Prahlad thought. Beat, beat your mind always. It's always a battle between the mind and the heart. And when they meet, the mind overpowers the heart, and we end up succumbing to things we know are not good. But we are helpless. So, whenever we are in a tempting situation, alluring situation, it is the heart, Prahlad, which has to instruct the mind, Hiranyakashipu, not the other way round. Let's say Namacharya Haridas Thakur, for example. no. Sri Laksha Hira, example. Laksha Hira, the prostitute, came in and she tried her best to allure Namacharya Haridas Thakur. But Sri Namachar Haridas Thakur, look how amazing. He was saying, oh, sure, sure, I will fulfill all your desires. Let me just finish all my rounds chanting, then I will fulfill your desires. And for 3 days and 3 nights, she was sitting next to a tulsi plant and hearing Namacharya's Thakur's chanting because his chanting would never get over. As soon as his chanting would get over, he would say, oh, the new day has started, and I have not started my chanting for the day. So, Kirtanya Sada Hari. So, in no time, the heart Haridas Thakur would win over the mind, which is the prostitute. On the other hand, we have an example of Bilwa, Bilwa Thakur. There you see Chintamani, the prostitute. She took the upper hand and Shri Bilwa Thakur, Mangal Thakur, went to her. Shri Bilwa Mangal Thakur was a great soul, but unfortunately was attracted to a prostitute, Chintamani. In fact, he crossed over a turbulent river holding a dead body to find her. Her doors were closed, and to get in through the roof, he climbed up a rope, which was actually a dead, which was actually, which was, which was, sorry, which was actually a snake, which was actually a snake, and then jumped in. And Chintamani looked aghast and overwhelmed at Bilva Mani Thakur and said, what? If you had this intensity for Krishna, you would have attained him by now. What is there in this body? Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami writes a tika. He explains that Chintamani, the prostitute, explained to Mangal Thakur that this body of mine is now young, but soon it will become old. You are wasting your youth for this body. This body will leave you old and diseased. And trust me, O Bilva Mangal, that I am giving up this profession tomorrow morning. I am distributing all my wealth and do bhajan of Krishna. Surrender. So I'm telling you, this attachment you develop for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not for this body. Bilva Mangal Thakur was woken up to reality, a hard blow. Krishnadas Goswami says, Chintamani spoke the Bhagavatam all night to Bilva Mangal Thakur. Bilva Mangal Thakur came to senses, left in disgust. How could I yet get attached to a prostitute? And then it said he came out of the house, swam across the river with the help of the same dead body, went to the other side, this time on the way to Somagiri, which was his Diksha Guru. He turned a new leaf. Bilva Mangal Thakur received inspiration from a prostitute. Bilva Mangal Thakur served his Guru, Somagiri, received blessing and took sannyas, then left to Vrindavan Dham. But in our case, it does not happen. Our mind is like a prostitute and the heart like Haridas Thakur or Bilva Mangal Thakur. The fight between divinity and demonic thoughts. Haridas Thakur, the prostitute came to him, and he was not allured. And for Bilva Mangal Thakur, he went to the prostitute, and the prostitute turned out to be his Vasta Pradarshana Guru, Shiksha Guru, paved the way, she who pointed the direction. Our mind is like the Hiranyakashipu, and our heart is like the Prahlad. And in times of conflict, we cannot expect our mind to give the same good advice as the prostitute gave Bilma Mangal Thakur. Invariably, our mind, like Laksha Hira prostitute, is going to endeavor to take it away while we are chanting Hare Krishna. Give up all your thoughts of enjoyment. Oh, wicked mind. Bhajo re, bhai. Mana ati mandala, gaura gandha, gadhara, go, they, gaura gadhara nityananda, advaita. Worship Sri Krishna. The living being is bound by the subtle body consisting of the mind, intelligence, and false ego. At the time of death, therefore, the position of the mind becomes the cause of the next body, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 8.6. Yam yam vapi smaran bhava tad smaran bhavan tajanta anta kevalam. At the time of death, the mind sets the criteria for the spirit soul being carried to another type of body. If a living being resists the dictation of the mind and engages the mind in the loving service of the Lord, the mind cannot degrade him. The duty of all human beings, therefore, is to keep the mind always engaged at the lotus feet of the Lord. Sava mana Krishna pada vindayo. When the mind is engaged at the lotus feet of Krishna, the intelligence is purified, and then the intelligence gets inspiration from the super soul. My Guru Maharaj, Jayapataka Swami Maharaj says, the more you give Krishna, the more you get Krishna consciousness. So that's the special gift of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When latent fire is aroused in the wood, the fire bursts forth, consuming the wood in the act of manifestation. Similarly, let's arouse the latent Krishna consciousness. Cheto Darpan Mahajanam Bhava, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. The mind wants sense gratification, enjoyment, Hiranyakashipu. The heart wants bhakti, Prahlad Maharaj. The best course is to engage the mind in the service of Lord Hilikesha and then feel the real bliss of life. Let's feel the bliss of life by chanting Hare Krishna. Before we all chant and unmute, I have a question to ask. Suppose you're talking to a spouse, he or she, a husband or your wife, or to a friend, and you realize he's there or she's there, and but very after literally nagging him once or twice, listen. Then he says, how do you all feel? Can somebody answer? How would you feel? Anybody?
Can you come again
Hare
once?
Krishna.
I didn't understand the question. Sorry.
Prabhu, like when you're talking to somebody, whether it's your wife, child, friend, and you realize he's there, but is in another, he's somewhere else. And again you tell him, Prabhu, listen, Prabhu dekho, Mataji dekho. What is your feeling that time?
I will feel that the other person is not listening to me.
Now, how do you feel? What is
I
your
will feel
feeling?
frustrated.
Frustrated, yes. You feel disgusted.
Yes.
You feel that he's
Dejected,
insulted you. You feel
angry.
frustrated. Yes, yes. So when we are chanting, we are calling the Supreme Lord, and then our mind goes to kitchen mein ye band hua, I have this to do with everybody of us, isn't it? So when we chant, we have to put our mind at every word so that we can listen. And of course, the Lord is very merciful. He doesn't get disgusted like us. But then we are calling the Supreme Lord. So if we have to feel the bliss, we have to hear every word. All of us, unmute and chant 3 times for us. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna
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 Krishna,
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 Hare
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 Hare,
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 Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama, Rama
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare.
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 Thank you all Matajis and Prabhujis for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And Sri Hari Prabhu, thank you. Ananda Rupa, thank you. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Mataji.
Dandavat
Thank
Pranam.
you,
Thank you.
Mataji, for a wonderful class.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much. And I really like the
Hare.
end part of yours, Mataji, where you say when your spouse is not hearing you, you get disgusted. It's the same thing that Krishna is so kind. He does not get disgusted with us. And he always, while chanting, it is sure our mind is roaming here and there. Thank you so much for that, Mataji.
No,
Shall
thank
be
you.
more careful now while chanting.
Hare.
Thank you.
And it is said if you
Hare
listen to
Krishna.
every word, the chanting becomes better, like your mind's still. I'm also trying after hearing a class yesterday. I just shared it with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna,
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Have a
Dandavat
very
Pranam,
nice
Prabhuji. Hare
class.
Krishna.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.